What's up guys, welcome to Malifaux, and in this game I am testing out an idea I've had. It's not some kind of tournament stomper, but I reckon it'll be pretty fun. And basically my crew is designed to get out a rogue necromancy on the first turn, and let chaos ensue. I don't have a lot of the models that are required to do this, so there's going to be some proxies, but hopefully you'll get the gist of what I'm up to here. I think I set up first, but we'll start with my opponent, so this is my wife's Sonya crew. It's not optimised, we don't have very many guild models, I'm still painting up the Ostringers and nudging her to make a start on the Witchling handlers, so we've just thrown in some models that I think will fit in well enough. So from the left we've got Johanna, the Guild Pathfinder, the Brutal Effigy, Sonya Creed, with Reincarnation and Sheriff's Imprint, I believe. I hate that combo. Purifying Flame, Witchling Stalker, Samael Hopkins, Witchling Stalker, Witchling Stalker. My Rogue Necro crew is Sun Chiang, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, new 10 Thunders model, and being proxied by this Thunder Archer. We've got the Carrion Emissary with the Ancestral Conflux, a Shield Bearer, being proxied by this Rail Worker, Mortimer, being proxied by Sebastian and the cornerstone piece of this crew, and obviously he's got Corpse Bloat and My Little Helper. Yan Lo with spare parts, Hayridin and the Soul Porter. Now because I had all the time in the world, and this is only what the whole video is about, I've managed to set this up like a complete tosser. So in order to show you what I'm trying to do, we're going to cut to some other pictures. So this is how I want to start to think about the setup. We've got Hayridin on a flank because his job for the rest of the game is going to be a heavy flanker. Run schemes out wide, deny my opponent's schemes out wide, and if that job is done, then come back towards the centre to disrupt my opponent's crew in the late game. He could happily be a Goryo and probably would be better as one, but I freaking love this model. He is just boss, and so I also want the excuse to try him out in this game. The extra little perk that he brings to this crew in particular is his 4-inch Curse of the First Traitor aura, which as we all know puts enemy models and friendly models within it, except for Hayridin himself, on a plus flip to be damaged when they get damaged. Which makes one of the steps in this crew's first turn setup more efficient for me. So the goal is to get a Rogue Necromancy on the first turn, so that by the second turn it's not slow and has got all its AP to do lovely, lovely stuff for me. And so what we need is 4 corpse markers dropped on the first turn. So enter the Shield Bearer. This guy's got 4 wounds, and once those 4 wounds are dealt, they drop a corpse marker and heal up, attaching a Spirit Bound upgrade, so basically they get a second life and have dropped a corpse marker. I haven't had to lose a model to get the corpse marker, and they can still be useful to me. So for the next drops, we've got Mortimer and Sun Chiang. And Mortimer is the guy who's going to be generating the last 3 corpse markers. I've got him kind of centrally, because I probably want those corpse markers rather central, and he's not going anywhere this turn. And he kind of struggles to keep up with the rest of the crew subsequently, so it's good for him to be kind of central. So yeah, his job is to pop My Little Helper on the first turn, get access to that 0/0 action, which allows him to Corpse Bloat twice, dropping 2 corpse markers and taking 6 damage. He then uses 2 action, Found a Bone or whatever it's called, to dig up the 4th and final corpse marker. And effectively halving the damage on your 12 stone model is quite a price to pay, and it's a bit rich for me, so I've brought some healing support in the form of Sun Chiang. I've got him out over here to give my crew a bit of space, and I think ultimately he wants to be running around this flank, or you know, at least more central flank. Because, oh my goodness, he's a superb model, but he doesn't want to be where the enemy can really bring its attention to bear on him before it's too late and he's done his job. He's got an ability that when another model within his line of sight takes damage, he can discard a card to push up to his walk directly towards that model, and if he goes more than 3 inches he can drop a scheme marker. So when either Mortimer or my Shield Bearer take damage, he can push towards them, drop a scheme marker, and then be within range to attack Mortimer twice, choose the built-in heal trigger to heal Mortimer 4 damage, and it's pretty easy to get off. Oh, and if I start my activation within 4 inches of Mortimer, then he'll also heal up 1 for that. Mortimer's got regeneration, so in turn 2 when he activates, he will be at full health once more. with very, very few resources used. I'll mention here there's also quite a nasty iteration of this crew that can be done with Philip and the Nanny, and with Soon Quan and other models that don't necessarily want to get too far ahead in the first turn, like the Shield Bearer. It's very easy to drop scheme markers for Philip to use as a card drawing resource, which is also handy for your summoners. So to round out the crew, we've got the Carrion Emissary there centrally. He doesn't really need to be here, but it's nice to get his extra walk aura on as many of your dudes as possible. And due to the summoning preparations, this crew is frickin' slow, so any extra movement helps. Beyond his normal job of being awesome for the rest of the game, his initial job is to start putting damage onto the Shield Bearer. So if Hayridin's Slug Shot doesn't bring it down, the Carrion Emissary definitely will. Soul Porter is Soul Porter, he's just there for the good old Yanlo pushing goodness. And defensive midfield, chi generating stabby in the mid game. And then we've got Yanlo, so by this point we've got 4 corpse markers dropped. The Soul Porter can push him up a little bit further, and then I can drop a card for chi. I won't have got any extra chi from the what's his name, Shield Bearer going down, and as he doesn't count as killed, even if I finish him off with Yanlo, I won't get that revitalize trigger going off because the Shield Bearer doesn't count as killed. I could try to go for the Severe, and that would give me a chi if I was to attack the Shield Bearer of Yanlo. But we're saving that high card for something a little bit more impressive, the Rogue Necromancy, which Yanlo will summon off the 4 corpse markers. I will happily spend a Soul Stone to get the crew that I need to do that, and that use will put the Shield Bearer fast for turn 2. Yan just needs to make sure he's within 6 inches of the Carrion Emissary and ascend, and that will also make the Emissary fast for turn 2. Depending on how early I make this play, it technically could be the 4th activation. When the Rogue Necromancy pops out, it can use its Stalk, and then it's really not even as though it's slow, but that doesn't really matter. The main thing is that it's in, and it can potentially be quite far up the board, so Yan can get pushed 4 inches. I mean, I could start him further up. He uses his 2 action, and then he can walk up, the Necromancy gets placed in base contact with him, and he's pretty near the centre. Although that would potentially make him a bit vulnerable, and I don't really see the need to do that, unless it was pretty much the last activation of the turn. So yeah, going into turn 2 with everyone hopefully healed up, 2 fast models, 8 activations and a 10 stone swing. Pretty fun, I'm hoping. As it is, I've cocked things up a bit. Wrong models around Hayridin, Sun Xiang blocked up a bit, Carrion Emissary not really giving out his walk aura to many things. But I like to wear my arse like a hat, so what are you going to do? In terms of this game's plan, the Shield Bearer is going to go straight up the centre and try to die heroically. Hayridin's going to head out around this flank, utilising this cover to stay away from Sonya's blasting. I reckon he can take a Witchling, so he'll drop a scheme marker for my claim jump and just annoy people on that flank, just be a bit too difficult to remove. The Emissary and Sun Xiang are going to take this flank, they're going to hang out around this marker, and between the 2 of them they can drop out a surprising number of scheme markers, whilst gumming up the enemy, as they both have tricks to do it whilst engaged. And Sun Xiang can make things peons, which I think will be hilarious around a stash marker. Yanlo's going to try to go up and take this stash marker and spam as many spare part summons as he physically can. Just before we start, terrain, this is severe terrain, blocking height lots, blocking height 2, stash markers, forests. This is hazardous severe terrain, blocking houses, height 3 or 4, height 2 blocking, severe terrain, and this is also hazardous severe. Oh, and you'll notice the Guild Pathfinder decided to from the shadow behind these boxes here, just a little bit forward. Right, let's get it on. There's my hand, pretty good. I got the 13 I need for the Rogue Necromancy summon, I got some crappy cards for discarding for my effects, but actually this hand isn't quite the one I need. I didn't notice at the time, but ideally I want at least a second card that's over a 9 in here, and we'll see why in a second. My opponent's hand, holy fucking hell. Yeah, well, Sonya's going to have fun. I get the initiative and immediately move the Carrion Emissary up to drop its shards to block Sonya's line of sight to the main body of my crew, and then whack the Shield Bearer for some damage. Shield Bearer goes, drops a scheme marker just because, and then wanders up a bit so that Hayridin can see him. Hayridin shoots the Shield Bearer, kills it. It drops its corpse marker and attaches the Soulbound upgrade that when it dies it will give me a Soulstone if I discard a card. Then Hayridin Vermoose is over here, he's so fast. Sun Xiang has also demonstrated that push ability by discarding a card to move towards the damaged Shield Bearer. I don't look like I've dropped a marker, but I could have if I'd moved more than 3, and the idea was to counter my shitty deployment and get within 6 inches of Mortimer again. I declared my little helper at the beginning of the turn, so Mortimer goes, he uses Corpse Bloke twice, drops the scheme corpse markers, prepares to dig a bone, and his shovel meets bedrock. I hadn't realised he needed a 9 to do this. I flip low and I don't have the card to cheat. I'm not willing to cheat in my 13, because I need that to actually guarantee to get the Necromancy, and so all of this planning was for nothing. And I'm going to have to go for it on the second turn anyway. But at least the Carrion Emissary's shards guarantee me that. So yeah, I kind of feel I built this up to something that it wasn't going to be. But it could have worked. It could have worked. So at the end of turn, things looked like this. Sun Xiang's healed 4 damage on Mortimer, and so hasn't moved anywhere. Yanlo's moves up to position himself in hard cover behind this building. The shard's going to go away at the end of the turn, and that's going to make things a bit tricky for me, as I'm going with my normal tactic of bunching up against Sonya. But I've got a chance to sort things out, as my wife has unfortunately made a goof of her own by blocking Sonya up with Samael, and she can't quite get through this gap, and so can't easily get into range until Samael moves his ass. On the guild's side, we've got Witchling coming out around this flank, we've got some Witchlings heading towards the centre. The Pathfinder has moved out, summoned a trap over here, and then gone over here to claim this stash marker. Bit risky to have it this far forward so early in the game, but they are quite a pain to take down sometimes. And Johanna's moved up to support. We've got Samael here obviously and Sonya, and the Brutal Effigy has run round to this alley over here. We go to turn 2, and that's not a bad hand, but that's Sonya's, and joke's on her, she's going to have to ditch 2 of those probably. Luckily I get the initiative and the Carrion Emissary goes, he flutters up, he then attacks the Pathfinder, and he does me proud, hitting him hard, getting a severe to blast onto Johanna, killing the Pathfinder and damaging Johanna, and then he puts up his shards right here to block any easy guild retribution. I'm aware he's the quick murder target for my opponent if she's got it, but he's going to be quite a tough cookie to shift from this position. And in the meantime, he's holding the stash marker for me, so great. So a little bit further through the turn, what have we got? We've got Witchlings coming out, dropping scheme markers near the centre line. Johanna also decides to drop a scheme marker, instead of moving all the way around to engage the emissary, which makes me feel that she's not got quick murder. And my eye is on Samael, because until he moves, that I've got enough time to do whatever stuff I want to at my own pace. So this allows me to get the Soul Porter up over here into position, and then Yan Lo can do his stuff. So first off, I think the Porter pushed him up a little bit. He uses the Zombie from the Carrion Emissary's shards as the 4th and final corpse marker to summon a Rogue Necromancy. And then he lightning dances the trap, putting it over here by the Soul Porter so I can farm chi off it, and stands there right in the face of the guild crew, shutting down this potential claim jump marker, if that's what it is, holding down the stash marker potentially. He's only got Impossible to Wound up because I haven't managed to generate enough chi to get the Spirit Ascendant, which is oh dear, I hate it when I can't get that. But I think Impossible to Wound is the main thing I need. So yeah, this is a really risky position to be in, but the main thing is I'm engaged with this Witchling Stalker, which means the guild are going to have to think twice before shooting at me at least. And if they do decide to close the distance, I've got a Rogue Necro guarding my back. I'm a little bit shocked to find that Samael can't actually charge me because he's got the charged threat range of Wet Bread. So my opponent opts to at least get him out of the way, move up, and then she decides to shoot in anyway and misses, hits the Witchling Stalker, that I then think cheats to miss the shot. So Witchling Stalker takes no damage. Not an optimal play, but you know, it could have hit Yanlo and been quite decent, and at least she's freed up Sonya and got Samael a little bit further up the board. Purifying Flame and Witchling Stalker charge on into Yanlo, not doing too much. I think the Witchling Stalker maybe does a little bit of damage and burning. Bit silly, I don't think I activated the Rogue Necromancy until a bit later, so there wasn't really anything left to stalk. I guess he could have stalked Sonya, but yeah, this is the bad thing about summoning him on turn 2, because all I could do was just walk into engage, keep him safe in this engagement, and keep him next to the... Upsetting he couldn't do more. I should have made better use of Stalk. Mortimer has come up to hide behind these crates. He's just a bit too slow, and I don't want to offer Sonya any viable targets if I can afford it. Sun Xiang's moved up over here and converted Johanna's scheme marker, which has been... Oh yeah, that's it. He's converted Johanna's scheme marker into one of mine. So damn useful. And there's a better picture of him doing that. FG's moved out of the alley to fear not the sword Sonya, though she's a bit limited in what she can do, thanks to the engagement party in the middle with Yanlo being the only thing she can really see. So she decides, fuck it, and charges in. And I've never found Sonya to be anything less than a combat true beatstick, and she doesn't disappoint me this time by ravishing Yanlo with her Sword of Fiery Pleasure, and yeah, he takes quite a beating, because that frickin' aura of hers means I can't Soulstone. At least she doesn't do the Inferno aura, because so many of her own dudes are around her. And Yanlo is in a bad way. By the end of the turn, he's burnt down to his very last wound. And this is the thing I find with Sonya. She will erase you at range, and once you finally make it through the Firestorm to get in to engage her, she just gives zero fucks. I mean, yes, I know I'm a sweet little old man stood in the middle of a guild crew, and that is just asking for it. But come on, give me a break. On the plus side, my fast shield bearer has sprinted up and dropped this scheme marker in prime claim jump scoring position, and that's also got her right up in the thick of things where I want her. If we go back up to this picture, you can see that Johanna's blocking my other scheme marker, so Hayridin flutters up and puts down another one. So at the end of the turn, I score claim jump and we both score guard the stash. Turn 3, that's a bit better. And there's Sonya's hand. I get the initiative again, and I'm so damn lucky with this. That probably would have been game over had I lost that, but as it is, Yanlo's got one more chance, and he really makes the most of it. So he focuses his chi, getting up to a cast 7, and we start the lightning dancing. I target Sonya, and this is risky. If he fails this, he will die, because I've never known her not to get that defensive trigger when she needs it. But neither of the jokers show up, and I get it off, placing Sonya to go stand over here next to the Rogue Necromancy. Have fun with that, living bitch. Oh, he's terrifying all, isn't he? Anyway, have fun with that, bitch. For my next trick, Samael gets lightning danced to stand next to the shield bearer, and Yanlo goes incorporeal and fucks off round this corner into hard cover. So Sonya and Samael are stuck in combat with my free model and my frame for murder target. I'm just going to waste so much of their time trying to get out of that. And I'm really happy with how that went. Over to the left flank we've got Johanna tangling with the zombie. She puts it down and I think drops a scheme marker. The brutal FG is also coming over here and helping out. Rogue Necro takes down this Witchling, damaging and burning these guys. He's immune to burning. Purifying Flame focuses and takes a shot at Yanlo, and Yanlo deftly survives. It's so tense, he's only on one wound. He can't go down to a peon. Shocked as they are by the lightning dance, Samael and Sonya really disappoint. Samael Black Joker's attack on the shield bearer fails to kill it, which is actually quite annoying. And the Rogue Necro tanks Sonya much better than Yanlo did. And he's still standing, attaboy. In case the Rogue Necro couldn't take the heat, I'd charged Hayridin in, failed to take down the Stalker, but damaged it enough that it'll die from its burning at the end of the turn. In return, the Stalker's gang up on Hayridin, and I've got no cards left by this point, so defense 7 means shit, and they damage him such that he will die of burning at the end of the turn. which will unfortunately free up this claim marker. Finally, Carrion Emissary and Sun Qiang drop markers for me, and at the end of the turn we both score for the Guard the Stash and our claim jump. Turn 4, yes, nice hand. But it looks like my opponent's keeping pace. Guild finally gets to go first, and the Purifying Flame decides to try to do some purifying. He focuses again, but can't bring down Yan Lo. I think I managed to Soulstone. Oh my goodness, that was tense. So, between all the zombies and the witchlings and other things that have died, there are 4 corpse markers on the field. And Yan Lo pops himself out to be within 6 inches of all of them, and summons another rogue necromancy. Mwahaha. Doing this, however, took away the zombie that was engaging Johanna again, and so I decided to put the rogue necromancy here to block her route to Yan Lo and keep her engaged. Probably a mistake, I feel, because she goes and flurries the shit out of it. Ah, well, way to rain on my parade. Rogue Necromancy and Shield Bearer are all beating on Samael, beating Soulstones out of the guild. It's not really worth attacking Sonya because she heals up so quickly. So Samael's not looking healthy, and he dutifully puts down the Shield Bearer, scoring me 3 points. Sonya is getting incredibly frustrated at this point because she is, without the witchlings around to help her hold this marker, she's got to waste an AP walking around to get there herself. She's losing decent cards to that willpower jewel for the Terrifying, and with Yan Lo having topped up the Necromancy's wounds again, it's just staying around. The Emissary, I think, is beating on Johanna again, soon, and dropping a scheme marker, dropping its... Oh, it summoned a Flesh Construct this turn, which was quite happy. That might be beating on the Effigy. The Sun Chuan, whatever his name is, drops a scheme marker and decides, instead of making these guys peons like an asshole, he's going to get up around here and try to look to heal Yan Lo up next turn. Over on the right flank, the Witchling is dutifully putting down some more marker, and Mortimer has finally made it up to that stash marker and is being relevant again. So we both score Guard the Stash and I score Claim Jump. Turn 5, the game is looking pretty secure now. That's a great hand again, and my opponent's hand is more modest. Guild go first, and Samael has had enough, and yeah, he smacks down the Rogue Necromancy. I think it had like 5 wounds left, and he easily killed the beast. And in one smooth movement, turned around and executing Yan Lo. I couldn't stone high enough to prevent the damage, and yeah, wow, that was an effective activation. In its rage, the Emissary takes down Samael, and as soon as I can, I finish off the trap with the Soul Porter, run him through the shards, and just go stand next to Sonya. This must be so frustrating, constantly keeping her engaged. The Purifying Flame and Mortimer are slugging it out. Sonya brings down the Soul Porter, but he's wasted enough of her time that the Emissary is safe, and she's forced to drop a scheme marker. And at the end of the turn, this Witchling over here has dropped a scheme marker, and the Brutal Effigy and the, what's it called, a Flesh Construct are just chasing each other around the stash marker. I think the Effigy's on, he's not looking healthy, he's got like 1 wound left or something. Just gotta take him down, and I couldn't do it. So everyone scores Guard the Stash, and the guild get Claim Jump. But the game is not over. We go into turn 6, and Sonya is not done yet. Free at last, she blasts the Emissary, hitting Severe, blasting onto Sun Quan, killing him, and I think the Emissary's on like 1 wound and burning. For shits and giggles, I attack Sonya, miss, and blow myself up. And she scores Quick Murder, which I'd completely forgotten about. Whoops. And we end things such that I still can't kill that Effigy with my Flesh Construct, and yeah guys, that is the game. Final scores: the guild scored 4 points for Guard the Stash, 3 points for Claim Jump, and 2 points for Quick Murder. The Resurrectionists got 4 points for Guard the Stash, 3 points for Claim Jump, and 3 points for Frame for Murder, making this game a 10-9 victory to the Resurrectionists. Much closer game than I thought it was going to be. And just wow, that was quite a comeback from the guild. Sonya and Samael just freaking devastate if they get the chance to, do what they want. And goodness, it takes so much effort to stop them. No idea how I'm going to deal with it when we finally get around to putting an Austringer and Francisco in this crew. But yeah, in terms of the whole point of this game, Rogue Necromancy turn 1 didn't happen, did it? But it could have been great. This could have been a charge and an assault in on that second turn. Still could have made some more use out of it if I used Stalk a bit more intelligently. And this guy certainly did his job. Interesting to see both sides of the Rogue Necromancy in this game, in that, we've got this tanky god over here, devastating the guild midfield with his three-headed is so good, that Witchling went down like it was nothing, and Samael really took a beating. And then we had this guy who popped his head up and died immediately. But to be fair, not many constructs take a flurry from Johanna and stick around. Mortimer was really decent. I'm surprised we don't see him more, or I don't hear of him more often. He's just, he's super tanky with 11 wounds and regeneration. Gets off to a slow start with the corpse generation in the first turn, but he makes it there for the late game to hold down ground. Yeah, I was quite impressed with him. And Soon Chang was a marvel. It didn't really come out in the pictures, he was kind of ghosting around the sides. Honestly, he can do so much. I didn't use him to his full potential. I should have changed these guys into peons with his aura, but he was just consistently dropping markers. Really, hard to get hold of, hard to hit when you can't dedicate resources to him. I'm not sure he really wants to be on a flank. Being a centre gives him more options for where he's going to push and move to. But if you can get him on a flank and get some damage going, then he can be pushing along, dropping markers, and that could really work well. But as it was, he did so many things that I needed him to in this game, and I can't wait for the mod to come out because he's probably going to be in all my crews. And finally, Yan Lo. I was so lucky to survive this. And I've got to admit, playing Yan Lo feels a bit like playing with a master instead of a henchman instead of a master. It often just doesn't seem like he does a lot to really impact the game like a master should in his activations. But then bang, double lightning dance just changes the game. And I've got to say, this was nearly perfect. Two of my opponent's most dangerous models out of position where they don't want to be. They've got to take on a free model and a model that will give me points. Yan Lo's in a lot of trouble because he's so badly injured, but he's just got enough to, that Corporeal allows him just to get through the house, and now he's in Corporeal Heart to Wound. Shooting attacks from these guys are going to really struggle. This Witchling is engaged and is not going anywhere. Johanna's engaged. That activation just changed this game from being a curb stomping to one I managed to get quite comfortable control over. At least until that frickin' 6th turn and Sonya smash. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that, guys. Let me know what you think of the crew. I really quite like spare parts on Yan Lo now. I don't think this first turn Rogue Necromancy one is really, it's not going to be a particularly strong crew, but it's definitely fun. And I think it's worth considering a slightly different one with Philip and the Nanny for all the scheme markers that you can put down so easily. Until the next time, take care.